Hello and welcome to the Light 'em Up Lounge. My name is Reinhard Pohorec.
Nicholas Krüger.
Our special guest today. Thank you for tuning in. Today we talk about changing consumer behaviors.
Nice.
Welcome back, Nico.
Thank you.
Welcome back to the Light 'em Up Lounge. Thanks for joining us again. Thanks for having us in your cathedral here, in your sanctuary of all things fortified, spirited, and boozy. I want to talk today about the state we're in terms of consumer behavior, changing consumer behaviors more than anything, because it feels like alcohol is not sexy anymore, and
I think it is.
We all want to live until 147. We all are healthy. We're all focused on sustainability and wellness and longevity, which is all fine and dandy and important. But with that seems to come a certain depreciation, I don't know if that's even a word, of alcoholic beverages, and it affects multiple industries. I mean, nightlife is pretty much dead. The whole club scene in London, in Berlin has changed drastically. People don't go out the same way they used to anymore, especially late nights. The consumption of hard liquor, of spirits, has gone down. The wine industry is struggling. Now, is that all hyped up? Is that all the way the media wants to portray it? How do you see that as a manufacturer, as a bar owner and operator? You see it firsthand. What's the state of the industry?
It's a very good question, but it's a very tricky question as well. And to say it straight from the beginning, there is no clear answer. It's not possible because if you look at the numbers are not looking good. And if you look at the media, well, the media is following a certain narrative. And especially like in Europe and everything, they want, everything is going into this like, don't eat meat, don't smoke, don't drink. You know, it's like, yeah, it's going in a direction which I'm not very pleased about. I don't like it. I'm a big friend of free will, yeah. And for myself, I can say my numbers, the numbers from our company, it's going well, you know.
Well, that's quite the understatement from what I understand.
Thank you.
Without having full insight, but going well for Wagemut is quite the understatement. I think you're killing it.
Thank you. But you see, the thing is, I don't believe that the people are drinking that much less. I think they're spending less. But we have to separate between like the mass market just getting smashed. Honestly, that would be a great thing if that market is literally struggling because it's not a good market. There's no advantage for anybody apart from the producer when people are getting intoxicated by alcohol. You know, this is not what I'm trying to defend. I'm trying to defend what we are doing right now. I'm trying to defend like smoking my cigar, having a nice glass with it, you know. And
connoisseurship.
Yeah, I don't want anybody interrupting stepping in and saying, no, you can't do this. You shouldn't do this. I'm like, oh yeah, hell I can. So if I'm pleased by something and if I enjoy it properly, we are not allowed to talk about health and the effect of health when it comes to this. But you know, look at the old French guy who drinks red wine every day, you know. But he's not drinking 10 bottles at night, right? He's having his like 2 glasses and he appreciates them properly and he loves doing it. He's not drinking while watching Netflix on the side and eating like a frozen pizza, right? So it's all about the energy.
Yeah, and the quality, right?
Yeah.
Less but better.
I think it has a huge impact of how you do things. If you appreciate them properly and if they, you know, for me, if I drink something that tastes good, it gives me so much joy. I believe that it has such an amazing effect on my well-being that I'm not allowed to say the positive thing when it comes to health, but, you know, you can think the rest. And what my theory is that the people just bought so much in the past So the market was like, let's take the Scotch malt industry, for example. The numbers are a disaster. There's nothing good to say about this, right? I think 24, the numbers were down like 27%. 23, the numbers were already down like 28%, something like this. So it's going down from the previous year, which was already down. But in the past, the people just bought too much. So what I'm trying to say is, I don't think, this is my theory, that the people are not really drinking less. They just drink what they already have. Because the market is changing. The prices are going up because the demand was too high, that the industry wasn't able to deliver the same quality. So the quality went down and the prices went up. This is never a good mixture. And if you look at the market of the spirit world, when it comes to aged spirits, we always have that up and down. It's always going up and down.
Life cycle trends.
Exactly.
We saw a huge flood of Scotch whiskies, or I don't even know what they called it, but it was like a sea of casks and Scotch whiskey in the second half of the last century.
Yes.
And there was an abundance of well-aged casks and single malt Scotch whiskies lying around, or blended malts and individual distillates and spirits. And then eventually it picked back up. It became crazy. Everybody overshot to the extreme that the collectible market exploded. Prices went berserk.
Yes.
And then you see a consolidation again.
Exactly.
Do you think this time is different though? Because it's a generational shift, and it's an overall shift in how people live their lives, what they enjoy and how they enjoy it, and linked with that also social behavior, right? Because we don't meet people the same way anymore. We don't go out the same way anymore. We don't socialize the same way we used to in the past.
Yeah, but at the end, well, to answer the first question, to close it up, it's basically there's a difference between sales numbers going down and what people actually consume. Because, you know, the great thing about a spirit is I can open a bottle now, as I just did, close it again, and then just reopen it in like 3 months, which is amazing, which is great, and a great advantage for spirits in terms compared to wine. If I open an amazing bottle, I have to finish it. And so, yeah, this is a big difference separating between sales numbers and consumer, like what the people are actually drinking. And we will never know. How can you tell? You know, the person who has 120 whiskeys at home, and there are many of them. There are like many crazy people like us who have an amazing selection, and now they're just using what they have. This old, amazing stuff, which they brought to like a much better price and in a quality which they can't get anymore today, or 3 times the price. So that's different. Okay. Now to come back, now to get to your second question. I think for the neat spirit market, for like a high quality spirit, when, you know, we pour something well made in our glass, full of flavor, full of complexity, with a great story behind, the people are actually appreciating a lot at home by themselves. So there's a huge difference when it comes to drinking, what the people drink while they're on a party or even in a nightclub. These numbers are down for sure. We can measure this very easily. And then there's like this different non-social side of it, where the people like me, I love just sitting by myself. I don't need company for that. Smoking a cigar. I do appreciate in company as well, but I don't need it. Smoking an amazing cigar, pouring myself an amazing glass, and I'm just sitting there by myself with my thoughts. Love it. If you want to sound a bit fancy, you can even read a book by doing it. You know? So yeah, even all the things with the social aspects are true, as you mentioned. Does it have an effect on this type of spirit market? I don't think so. I definitely can't tell by my numbers.
Speaking of grape juice...
Sorry, may I just add one small detail? Absolutely. And if we look at the numbers of all these companies, yeah, who are releasing like, you know, this huge whiskey house is struggling, this huge, was ist ein Konzern in English?
Like a corporate.
Yeah, this huge corporate is struggling. Yes, but look at the biggest corporate on earth when it comes to spirit. They make their numbers by selling Baileys and Smirnoff vodka and these kind of things. These numbers are down, for sure. But when it comes to like these as well, like I spend 40 euros for a bottle, per example, and it's just like another whiskey. I don't have a personal attachment to it. I don't know anything. I don't know the person who does it. It's like, yeah, you know, it's not, I'm missing something. And in that point of view, I think the market is changing, that the people want that experience. They want the story. They want the personal interaction with it. And that's why, on contrary to the market, my brand Wagemut, my company, is doing quite well. Because we interact with the people. We are personal. We are reachable. I'm like standing there in front of the camera every day, talking to the people, interacting with them. I'm answering the comments. I'm replying myself. I'm replying the emails myself. You know, these deals. It's very personal. You don't get an answer like, oh yeah, best regards, the Wagemut team. You know, you're talking to real people. You don't talking to AI, whatever. And I think that makes a difference. The people know it's real. And they need that by now.
So AI, that's a whole different rabbit hole that we...
Let's not do that.
We won't go down into, at least not this time.
Yeah.
But one thing that's critical, which you touched upon, and again, we see this in different industries, you have two trends which are polar opposites, kind of like thesis, antithesis to one another. Everything in today's day and age is digitalized, fast-paced, online, mass-produced, mass consumption. The bigger, the better. And then you have the antithesis. It's the complete backwards, opposite trend of small individual craft, real people, story, depth, substance. Not that you don't find substance and depth or history and legacy in corporates as well. You know, some of these brands have incredible history and depth to them, and still manufacture a qualitative product.
Yeah, of course.
But look at the whole artisanal baking.
Yes,
sourdough.
good example.
Look at the coffee, which with the whole third wave, it was years and decades ago already. You saw that craft boutique niche trend, craft breweries, the spirits industry, small independent winemakers, and cigars. Same story. But it seems that these two both become stronger at the same time, and they're almost pulling apart from one another in different directions.
I think so. I think it's a very good point you just made. Yeah. From my experience, I would agree with that.
And they probably need one another. And, one cannot live or exist without the other.
Yeah, and like, for example, we are in Vienna right now, and we have these amazing artisanal bakeries. And they're literally, the amount of money you pay for a bread is crazy. You can never think, like, I went to like a friend of mine who owns a bakery in North Germany, and I told them the prices the people are paying for these artisanal bread. He doesn't believe me. Literally, he's like, "Yeah, no, it's not true." And so the people do appreciate these things, and they're willing to pay money for it. But the mass market is still the cheap bread, and we have to make a difference between what people say they want, what people say they do, and what they really do. These are two different things. Talking about this whole health and fitness thing and stuff, well, I'm going to the gym quite regularly, and I can't tell you that there are more people. No, but it's true, you know. So we want to have that narrative that, society tells me I should drink less, so now I'm talking about drinking less and stuff, but what do I actually do? These are two different things.
And then you buy a course and you buy a book.
Yeah.
You don't take the course, you don't read the book, but you feel like you've already done something.
Yeah, let's take meat consumption, for example. Everybody's talking about, I only eat meat from like the butcher around the corner, from this farmer who has this like grass-fed whatever. But if you look at the numbers, like all these small butchers are closing. There's something not right here. Like 90%, I'm just making these numbers up, but 90% of consumers say, I only eat this, but actually 90% is just like mass-produced whatever. But on the other side, if you market yourself properly and you say, listen, this is what I do, and you show everything in a very authentic and transparent way, you see these like meat producers going through the roof, because the people are like, I get it, I appreciate this, I trust you, and that's why I'm buying you or me, for example. Yeah. And it's the same with cigars, it's the same with spirits and everything.
What's odd is a lot of these things...
Sorry, may I interrupt again?
Go for it.
When I'm talking to colleagues of mine, they say, Nicholas, how's it going? I'm like, yeah, it's going good. And I'm asking, how is it going for you? Yeah, it's not good. And they're like complaining that it's not how it used to be in the past. And I was like, well, why should it be going well? I'm, asking that straightforward question, like, why should you sell well? They make a good product. There's no doubt, you can't say anything about it, but then it's just standing there on the shelf. Why? Why should someone buy it? Just honestly, be grateful that you have sold it in the past. But where does that expectation come from? Like, yeah, the people should just buy my stuff. I'm like, why? Who are you? Like, I mean it. Why should the person buy your bottle? They don't know anything about you. You're not transparent. You don't show anything. You don't interact with the people. Like, no hard feelings, but honestly, I'm more surprised that it used to work.
Excellent point.
And I don't mean it in a bad way, it's just be reasonable about your expectation, about the work, about the effort you put in.
Very true. What surprises me is a lot of these quote-unquote trend evolutions, life cycles, if we want to feed that narrative again, those are elements of craftsmanship. Those are techniques and things that were the norm back in the days. Mm-hmm. It just seems we're rediscovering them, yet it's become so hard to obtain nowadays, so expensive to do because of labor costs, because of over-regulation in some instances. I always joke, that's how grandma used to do it. Yeah. When you think about preserving what's in season, pickling stuff.
Sourdough bread, to get back to that example.
100% accurate. All of these things used to be the norm in how we did things in the past. And nowadays, all of a sudden, they're this crazy, quirky, geeky, nerdy shit that everybody goes crazy about. When, in fact, it's all there, right? It always was. We just forgot about it. And large mass production, industrialization, mass consumption kind of like swallowed all of that. And we need to rediscover that to a certain degree. But it's tough nowadays because it's beyond certain people's budget just to buy a decent piece of bread, to your point.
Yes, but I don't think that this is the issue, because like if you make, the bread example is very good, so we just stick to this. If you do a proper job, if you know what you're doing, if you're properly trained, if you work hard, you will be able to succeed if you just show it in a very authentic way. And I believe the problems are real, like labor costs and all these things, regulations. It's all real, okay? I don't want to dilute that down. It's very true. But still, it's more than possible. But the people are just, like the producers in this case, they're just expecting too much. You just think you're so special, but let me tell you something, you're not. You're not special. You're not a little snowflake.
Or there's so many middlemen involved, like supermarket chains, where at some point the manufacturer doesn't get enough for their product. Milk, for example, we see that. Oftentimes the farmer will get 50 cents for a liter of milk, and then the end consumer pays €2 on the supermarket shelf, and all the value in between goes to the middleman, who probably adds the least in terms of value add to the product.
Okay, well, this is a very tricky rabbit hole. If we decide to go down this road, we're gonna need a long time to just break it down.
Sure.
That's why maybe we stick a bit more simple to this like small artisanal bakery. Mm-hmm. What I'm trying to say is, if you're trained properly, if you understand your craftsmanship, if you open up a shop where you sell your amazing bread with an amazing personality, with an amazing attitude, with the best customer experience ever, with an amazing quality product, the people will be willing to pay for that effort. but don't expect just to become a millionaire by selling bread, by working 6 hours a day. This is not how it works. You know, let's take the example of our grandparents again. I have a huge, I admire my grandparents. My grandfather's not with us anymore, unfortunately, but my grandmother's 97. And she got a very clear head. She's able to tell me all these stories. My grandfather, he only died a few years ago, so I learned from him. I was inspired by him. And they built something quite nice for the family and everything. You know, it was fine. He was a Handwerker, I don't know the English word for it. But the amount of work they put in, the effort, because, you know, it is far more labor work to produce an artisanal product. We don't get this. They didn't watch Netflix at night. They didn't work 8 hours. Like 8 hours now is like, if you have somebody who is willing to work 8 hours a day, that's quite a lot actually, you know, that's definitely from past generations. So I don't want to turn this in a negative, actually no, I want to turn this in a very positive direction, that all this is still possible. The people do appreciate the effort you make if you show them in an authentic way and if you mean it with your heart. The people just feel it. And I always say the consumer, he's not stupid. We are all experts. We all are able to judge it like an expert. The only difference between the expert and the normal customer is the expert is able to put it in words. And the normal customer, he's just like, yeah, no, I don't like it. And you're like, why not? I don't know.
Doesn't feel right.
Yeah, I just don't like it. While the expert, he's able to like, okay, this is not right because of this, this, and this. But the result is the same. Both say, no, this is not good. No, I don't like this.
Speaking of very good, this is very good, and we need to talk about this juice for a little bit.
Yeah, it's a little, what is it? Schleichwerbung, what do you call it in English?
No Schleichwerbung at all.
Nicholas, this is very good. I'm like, really, Reini?
Just sharing.
Yeah. Really, Reini, it's a product very good we made together.
Well, it's a product.
No, I'm just kidding. Just kidding. Yeah.
And it's a fabulous one.
Thank you.
Particularly when it comes to pairing cigar, spirit. Yeah, this is the way to go, man.
Thank you, man. I'm glad you like it. So what we've done here is basically we talked about it in a discussion without the camera on, like, let's, you know, start matching cigars properly. Not just because when you think, okay, I want to drink something to my cigar. What goes, if you type it in Google, what to match a cigar with, it's all just put in general, right? You have, coffee. Cigar plus this equals great or not great. It's like, yeah, but which type of cigar, which type of rum, which type of whatever, you know, you can't just, you can in a certain way just to make it easy to start with something, but at the end, if you want to have a proper, great experience, if you have to have an experience that blows your mind, it's not that simple. Which is great. Like, for example, I love this, yeah, when it comes to my bar. And I just have people like, oh yeah, I would like to have a whiskey. If I have the time, you know, or like a rum, whatever. I'm like, what do you think if I do like a little tasting? Instead of you having just, you know, I read the room and it depends on the mood the people are in, but if I see they're quite interested in the topic, I'm like, okay, instead of me serving you one glass, let me serve you like 4 small different glasses. So you pay the same, but I just pour you like, you know, 4 different things and you can experience different flavors and stuff, you know. Wouldn't that be cool? And nearly all of them do this and they appreciate it a lot, which is very cool. So yeah, basically we broke it down to let's create something that is built to match perfectly with the cigar. So we went a bit crazy here. So what we have as a base, it's a very old rum from Trinidad, which was aged for 20 years. And then we added Pedro Jimenez sherry into the rum. So literally like poured sherry in the rum. And Pedro Jimenez sherry, it's like this most amazing sherry type, the sweetest wine on earth with this sugar content of like 480 grams of sugar per liter. And then we aged this in walnut casks and in palo cortado sherry casks. And this creates this like oily, rich, slightly sweet, amazing complex spirit that matches so well with the cigar.
Overachiever.
Yeah,
in terms of what happens on your palate.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just unctuous and voluptuous. It's so rich and velvety. It's like
Velvety is a good.
it's a wave of pleasantness and richness and complexity washing over your palate.
Yeah, I'm glad you like it. I love it.
Quite remarkable.
Thank you.
And I think this is a great example of what we're discussing. It's an authentic product put together with a lot of experience, expertise, knowledge and understanding of your core ingredients, and then you dismantle it. You look at every single component, you try to push it to a level of the extreme, and then you put it back together and create something extraordinary with it. And the same is true for the cigar, right? I mean, this is exactly the spirit in which this has been created, with the inspiration of the old European legacy brand and luxury houses in mind. In essence, doing what we did in the past, doing things the right way, taking the very best raw materials that you can, push every component to a level of the extreme, bring it back together, and then you elevate the overall experience.
Love it.
And that's what we should be striving for. And I think those are the kind of products that people yearn for. Those are the things that people look for because they feel there's something real, there's something extraordinary about it. And it's not just your everyday cigar and your everyday pour that you get at the supermarket or a shitty nightclub because you want to get shit-faced.
Yes, plus all that, what you just said, plus like just, we want to, it's not enough anymore just to create good quality. It's not enough anymore to cook a great meal. The people want to have an experience. They want to, have a story, whatever. They want to have a story to tell. They don't want to say, I went to this restaurant and the lamb I had was very good. Yeah. Boring, They want to.
Of course it was.
Yeah. They want
tell
to.
them, oh, this is
They want to say, I went to this restaurant and there was this crazy guy in the kitchen and the chef came out and he presented the plate and he was telling about his dish and about his idea of the dish with such an amazing attitude and passion, and he was the sparkle in his eyes was just infectious, and then he made this and he had this little herbal garden in his backyard and he took me outside and he let me smell the sage. I'm just creating something, right? So the chef, by coming out and doing all these things, by making the effort of having his own herbal garden in the back, this is now a story to tell. And now what the customer wants, after he has been there, had this amazing experience, of course, what do you think next time he has friends over visiting from a different city? What do you think, which restaurant he's going to show them? And now this restaurant is doing so well and this restaurant is always packed and people are like, oh yeah, he was just lucky. No. It's about all these little details, right? Understanding the craftsmanship, the chef who used to work for these amazing chefs in the past, to learn from them, all this hard work he poured into it, all this passion he poured into it. And this creates an amazing result. He's not preparing food. He is, technically. But.
And you could argue that rising tide always raises all ships. It's in times of economic wealth, when everything is booming, and everybody's got money to spend, then all businesses flourish, and you can do a semi-decent job or have a semi-decent product, and it will still sell eventually. Whereas in terms of economic uncertainty, and when there's a bit of a contraction on the market, you all of a sudden see that it's getting tougher,
more selective,
and then it gets more selective, and you really need to be on the top of your game in order to still maintain your business, keep your business, and eventually grow it, like you do.
Yeah, and again, to that, this question always sounds so hard and harsh, yeah? But honestly, just if you're a producer, just ask yourself, why should I sell? Why should the person buy from me? Why, literally? Why should that guest come into my restaurant? Whatever, you can use that for every small detail.
Nico, if you were to start a spirits business from scratch, or if you wanted to get into the cigar business and you were to start your own brand, what would be some of these core values, principles, and the fundamentals of how you'd set up that business in order for it to be successful?
main part is authenticity. So basically, and transparency. What I would do is I would take the people on a journey with me. Like from the beginning, I would document everything. This is basically what I do. So it's very easy for me to say. So if I'm saying now, okay, I want to get properly in the cigar industry, like properly, I would like travel to, I don't know, Nicaragua, Honduras, and Dominican Republic. I would visit like producers. I would have my phone with me. I would document everything. I would take the people on the journey with me, and involve them as well, which is very important. Like, I can say all these things because when it comes to spirits, that's exactly what I do. And this is why for us it's working well. Because at the end, when the product is finished, the customer, he has a feeling that he's part of the product. And honestly, he is. He was with me there, like, visually.
Part of the process and part of the product.
And I'm making like Q&As. I'm like, no, not Q&As, that's the wrong word. I'm like literally asking questions and let the people vote. I let the people decide with me. I'm like designing a label. I share it. I'm like, what do you think? And they're like, yeah, I don't like this. I don't like this. I'm like, oh yeah, that's a good point. So I change it and I adapt. And then the people see, actually, I told him this is not good. Now it's gone. So I have an effect on it. I'm part of it. And we went even one step further. We built like a community around it. So with like a membership and stuff. So you're literally physically a part of it. In a very small dosage, but still, you have a huge impact at the end. Like all the numbers create a huge impact, and that's all these people with little influences. They create what we have.
Do you think that too often manufacturers just dictate what they feel is right, and then they underestimate the consumer and put something in front of them and be like, here's the best, the greatest, and now buy it?
Yes. And especially, what do you know, honestly? You can't predict the market. And everybody who thinks he's able to predict the market, he's gonna fail. And that's the thing, when you look at my company, at Wagen, for example, it always looks quite shiny from the outside, but I'm trying transparent with the things that are not going well. But you need to follow us a bit deeper to see this as well. What you see very often, yeah, we released a special bottling and it sold out in like 4 minutes. So like, wow. Yes, but you haven't seen all these other details that didn't went well. Like, for example, we made like a, what do you call it, Adventskalender? Calendar?
Yeah, like
we did a
Advent calendar.
Advent calendar, yeah, for the first time. And yeah, we don't have experience in doing this. So it's the first time we did it. What do you think? It did well? No, it did not at all. We delivered way too late. There has been problems with the box and everything. So that's many mistakes we did and many learnings we took out of that project, and which is normal. You just need to own your shit, right? And just say, okay, listen, I fucked up. I'm sorry for this. Instead, now we're gonna make this, and you adapt, and this is how you grow, basically. So now you look at my company like, oh yeah, he really got his shit together. Yes, but I burned everything down the previous times. You see? So, but if you only learn about my work now, you don't see all this. You haven't been there while I did this.
But what you also say is, don't be shy about it and share it.
Just do it.
And let people also see and hear that, here's a fuck up we did. Here's
Exactly.
something that did not go as planned, but we own it. And being a part of the journey and being a part of the process and the product also means seeing the failures and the downfalls, rather than just, oh, this is perfect and everything is shiny and glossy.
May I give you a small example how we handle things? For me, the most precious thing I've built over the past years is the trust between my customers and myself. The most important thing is, if I tell you, okay, listen, this is great, buy this. This is not great, I would buy this, whatever. This is the most precious thing. And I defend it at any cost. This is why you can't pay me for me to advertise something which I don't stand behind and stuff. But once I recommended a product from a very small Austrian distiller, actually. And it was an amazing product. I tried it. I was like, this is so great. And that's why I recommended it. online. I made a video and I said, listen guys, you need to get this. This is so cool. So the people bought it. And I started getting feedback of like, Nicholas, honestly, normally, if I follow your recommendation, it's always great, but this product's really not good. I'm like, what? I'm like, okay, that's weird. Maybe you had a bad day. I don't know. The next person contacted me saying, Nicholas, said exactly the same thing. I was like, whoa, guys, there's something wrong here. So I went and I tried the products that people bought and was like, this is a whole different product. Turns out the product I tried was a different batch. So my experience was amazing. The product they bought was literally not good. They were right. You know what I did? I contacted everybody who bought a bottle of this and I said, listen, here's a refund of your bottle. So we made a huge loss with my company. I made a huge loss with a product I have nothing to do with. I just made sure that the people are able to buy it in Germany because, as you know, spirits you can't just buy from a different country, right? So what I did, I brought from the small producer, got everything to Germany and sold it to the German market, to my audience. And now I'm the guy, I haven't produced it, but I'm still responsible because I recommended it with my name. And because for me it's so important that the people can always trust me and I want to have them the experience that if I fuck up, I'm gonna, take responsibility and make it right. That's why I refunded all of them they bought. They could keep the bottle. I made a huge loss, but because my word is the most important thing. And if you look at this, I made this huge loss and you would think, yeah, this wasn't very good for business, was it? Well, I think so. I think it is.
Long-term.
I think it, exactly. Because I think long-term, I'm not thinking about selling my company in 2 years. I still need you in the future to trust my judgment. That's why I make sure that if I do a mistake, that I do it right afterwards.
Yeah. That I believe is a very important aspect. We haven't mentioned in such depth. It's the long-term vision and strategy.
Oh yeah, it's true. It's a very good
of your
point.
company as well.
Yes.
And where do you want to be with your product? Not in a month from now, but in 10 years, 20 years, 50 years from now.
To speak openly, I want to be the greatest rum maker the world has ever seen. And I mean it. I'm not trying to be humble here, as you could tell. No, I'm 35 now, which is, I'm 35, but I already have 20 years of experience of making spirits. And I'm such a geek when it comes to this, I'm getting excited. When I'm on my way to the distillery, I always ask my wife, bist du auch so aufgeregt? Yeah? I always ask her, like, are you also so excited? And she's like, well, not as excited as you are. She always says the same thing. I'm still getting goosebumps. I'm still like getting all excited when I just visit a different producer because I love it so much. I love it so much that when I just put a bottle in the shelf, even that part. I just love everything that has to do with spirits. It's my whole life, man, honestly. There are other things that matters, sure, but it's all about that. It's all about this. I would never want to do anything else. And the depths and the work I put in and the vision I have for my company, for what I'm willing to do. I'm just now opening my first distillery. I'm in the middle of the process. And I want to have distilleries all over the world, from Madeira and Vietnam and Bali and El Salvador, and, produce different styles of rum all over the continent, all over the world, basically. So I want to go into detail, take the people on a journey in a way that has never been done before. Yeah.
That's beautiful. Nico, oftentimes on the show, we go into book recommendations as well. And I know you're a geek, you like to read, you have a whole bunch of crazy spirits books, but you also have a ton of non-spirit related books. What is one of your most recent reads that you truly enjoyed and that you found inspiring?
Ooh. I need to move for that.
Of course.
Should I get it?
Oh,
Should I get it?
Yeah. Even better if you can grab it. We'd love to show it.
I think I know. Yeah. Look, I already got it.
There you go.
That's it. I think this is I think this is the most important book of my life. It's always a bit tricky because it's quite an emotional topic. So if you would have asked me 2 years ago, it would have been a different book. But right now, this is my answer. Naval Ravikant, he's like a investor when it comes to tech, like Silicon Valley. And yeah, this doesn't sound, he is, but it doesn't sound right for the point I'm trying to make. And he's basically describing how he does things. And it's all about creating value for others. It's all about working in a state of flow and doing the things your way, basically. Mm-hmm. And he shuts a great inspiration for like the vision I just shared with you. People like him, characters like him, books like these are basically allowing me to not only dream as big as I do, but having the right mindset to achieve all these things and to do the work that is necessary. Not being a little, yeah, I just want this in my life, and just because I want it, I should get it. No. You need to earn everything. You don't deserve anything. Literally. You deserve to be born. You already won the lottery in life. That's the biggest gift you can ever have. And we can agree that you deserve the love of your parents. Apart from that, this is my attitude. I'm responsible for everything that happens in my life. Full responsibility. And I don't deserve anything. But this sounds so negative, right? But I don't mean it in a negative way. I don't mean it, I mean it in the most beautiful way ever. Because if you take responsibility for everything, the good thing that happens in your life is your fault as well, which is awesome.
Ownership.
Mm-hmm.
It's almost full circle to everything we discussed and why certain products perform the way they do while they are appreciated, and why people yearn for them and long for them, and why others might be struggling. And I think it's a good incentive and a good reminder of what we should be focused on when we do things, and do things properly in a very authentic and genuine way, trying to bring value in whichever your segment is. Nico, it's been a great pleasure. Thank you so much.
Thank you, and it was
joining us at the Light 'em Up Lounge.
Thank you for having me.
To be continued.
Yeah, thank you. Pleasure. Thank you.
We'll see you all next time. Until then, light 'em up, everybody.
Yeah, now I got it.
Thank you, man.
Thank you, man.